Hi, this is Glenn with Freedom for Life Fitness, and today we're going to talk about exercises that you should avoid if you're over 50. The first one is heavy back squats. Now, I know a lot of people like to do back squat, and it is a very effective exercise, but for most people over 50, it's something that we should chuck out. And we should not do. You say, well, what should I do if I can't do back squats? Body weight squats is a good idea. Leg press is a good idea. And Bulgarian squats are also a good idea. So those are substitutes. Heavy back squats, as we age, it's just is too much axial loading. It's putting too much pressure on our knees. Can you do it? Maybe. But when you take the risk and reward, I don't think it's there for the majority of people over 50. So the first one we're going to yank off our list is heavy back squats. Okay, the next one that's usually not favorable for those 50 and above is heavy deadlifts. So there are some alternatives that you can do if you're over 50. Now, if you're like, I have to do deadlifts and I'm over 50, I just need to do them. One way that you can do it that's safer is through what's called a trap bar. So trap bar deadlifts spreads the resistance more through the center of your body versus forward, and puts the body in a better environment than doing a regular barbell deadlift. Now, I'm not saying it's completely safe, but it is safer. And for those who aren't going to skip the deadlifts, a trap bar deadlift would be better than a regular bar deadlift. Another thing that we could do is hip thrusts. Those work many of the same muscle groups, but it's a much safer alternative. So a hip thrust hits those same muscle groups, but is much safer than a traditional deadlift. The next thing we should skip if we're over 50 is a lot of long distance running. So if you're training for a marathon and you're running 40 or 50 miles a week, and you're over 50, if it's on your bucket list and you're like, hey, I have to do it, it's something that's been on my bucket list for a long time, I'm not going to be one to stop you, but I am going to tell you, long distance running over 50 isn't the best idea for our hips, for our knees, for our ankles, for our back. It also provides less ability to build muscle. It can really alternate our hormonal levels, including our testosterone. So long distance running over 50 is not the best idea. Now, if you're looking for alternatives, you can do zone 2. I've done a lot of videos on zone 2. Those are lower intensity. That's where you're running at a very slow pace or walking, depending on your fitness level, but you should be able to carry on a conversation. Your pulse should be about 70% of your max, and you should feel like you're working a 3, 4, or 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Those typically aren't going to cause the damage to our body, which we talked about earlier. It's more likely going to keep our hormonal environment in the right place, and again, lessen your chances of injury. Okay, the last exercise is heavy barbell bench press. And as you can see, I brought what's called a bench block. And so for people who are like, I really want to incorporate benching after 50, I usually use a bench block. It's rare that I go all the way down to the chest. It partly depends on your genetic makeup, but using a bench block can be very helpful for preventing you from going all the way down, because as we go down, it's where we put more stress and strain on our shoulder. And if you notice, this has different levels. So level 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 3 and 4. So I usually use either the first one or the second one because it's those last 4 to 6 inches that really put greater strain on the shoulder. So heavy bench pressing, either ignore it, skip it, or use something like a bench block if you're over 50. Now, I'm not telling you to do heavy bench press. I'm just telling you if you have to, this would be a much safer alternative than going all the way down to your chest. Some other alternatives would include a push-up, also, dumbbells allow us to maintain a better environment for our shoulders than a barbell. So push-ups, which is called a closed-chained exercise, or dumbbells would be safer alternatives than heavy barbell bench presses where you bring the barbell all the way down to your chest. So those are some exercises that I would recommend avoiding if you want to stay pain-free. You can do this. This is Glenn, and we'll see you next time.